Is 2346 the end of humanity? Will the 25th universe be the final fate of mankind? This is the Old Horse Quest Society. Today we're going to talk about Cosmic Experiment 25. In 1972, behaviorist John B. launched an experiment called Universe 25. The purpose of this experiment is to observe, under ideal circumstances, rat population growth and behavioral changes, uncovering the impact of density on social organization and behavior. Because the previous 24 experiments were due to equipment and site issues, did not achieve the expected effect. So I prepared for experiment 25. The experimental site is a well-designed old utopia. Offer unlimited food, water, and sheltered spaces. The experiment initially introduced 4 teams of 8 mice, trying to create a perfect social environment. However, this seemingly perfect setting, but it led to an unexpected and tragic ending. From boom to bust. In the first few months of the experiment, the mouse population is growing rapidly. Life seems harmonious and happy. Reproductive, social. Foraging for food is like daily life in an ideal country. By day 100, the number had reached 220. And their world is full of life. However, a looming crisis has begun to brew. Although the crowded living space meets the basic requirements, survival need, but it increases the friction between the mice invisibly. As time progresses to day 300, the population has skyrocketed to 620 individuals. Despite the abundance of resources, the mice started to behave differently. Enhanced aggression, reduced parenting behavior in female rats. Lonely individuals increase. This utopia gradually turned into a story of anxiety and apathy. And then 600 days, the population has reached its limit. More than 2,000. Like a seemingly perfect garden. Behind the blossoming surface, the soil has started to wilt. The interaction between the mice began to decrease. Reproductive behavior has nearly disappeared. Young individuals gradually lose their ability to survive. The experiment entered a behavioral sinking phase. The rats become apathetic. The social fabric collapsed. All of this, like human society behind a high degree of civilization. Lurking social isolation and mental breakdown. Finally, on day 1588, with the death of the last mouse, rats are going extinct. Once a utopia full of hope and vitality, eventually turned into a silent cemetery. Calhoun's experiment revealed, shows a cruel truth. Even under the most ideal conditions, the complexity of society and the behavioral changes of individuals could still lead to an inevitable crash. This is a thought-provoking experiment. Is human society following the same trajectory? Advances in technology, the abundance of resources, does it really bring lasting happiness and peace? In highly dense cities, are we also gradually losing the connection between people towards loneliness and indifference? In fact, the conclusion of Cosmic Experiment 25. It is not difficult to find the shadow of human society. Many human behaviors, social conditions, are remarkably similar to the mice in the experiment. Social isolation. In recent years, with the development of urban furniture and technology, humans are becoming increasingly isolated, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A study by the CDC. In 2018, about 25% of adults said that they feel lonely at all times. And this figure is even more pronounced among young people. They're like rats in an experiment. in a dense environment. The connections between individuals thin out. The old horse is from the Northeast, lived in a bungalow as a child. Neighborhood walking around is mundane. It's very human. Now living in a building. Many people even consider their neighbors. No one knows. I don't know if you feel the same way. In addition, according to the World Health Organization's WV report, more than 264 million people worldwide suffer from depression. Anxiety disorders are also on the rise. This mental health crisis reflects the experimental mice in crowded environments, showing anxiety and aggression, although human society has abundant material resources. But it cannot meet the individual's psychological needs. Crowded as of 2020. More than 55% of the world's population lives in urban areas. The city's rapid expansion has led to severe, heavy congestion problem in very dense metropolises. Living space is getting smaller and smaller. Like a mouse in Universe 25. Excessive, the crowded environment raises complex social problems. Quota. Human society, facing severe, heavy waste and uneven distribution. According to the 2019 Credit Suisse Bank. Research data from the Caridad Smith Institute. The current richest 10% of the world's population. It holds 82% of the world's wealth. The poorest 50% of the world's population. Some wealth is insufficient globally, 1% of the total. The excess and waste of this resource. Like a mouse in an experiment, with unlimited food and water. But it was occupied by a few. Other mice can't really see. Like an endless supply of food and water. Trends and social issues? According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Arathos report. Global violent crime rate. It continues to rise in some regions. Crime is particularly high in cities. This was observed in Space Experiment 25. Rats in crowded environments demonstrated similar aggressive behavior. The problem of violence in human society reflects overly dense and the disadvantages of social structural imbalance. Fertility decline. Fertility rates are declining in many countries. OECD, Black CD. The data shows that fertility rates in many developed countries already below population replacement level. This trend and the decrease in the reproductive rate of mice in the experiment echoes a decrease in parenting behaviors. Indicates that in stressful and crowded environments, the willingness and ability to reproduce is diminishing. The old horse couldn't help but ask a question about checking the gap. If based on 25th, 1,588 days from the beginning to the end of the universe, applied to human society 10,000 years ago to today, the 25th universe and humanity were born. The growth rate and the death rate are converted. Finally, apply this formula to the Earth. Do the math. How many years will human society be away from extinction? Disassembling the spray gives a series of calculation methods. Finally came to a silent answer. If you follow Universe 25, the growth rate and time of the experiment scale to calculate, human society is only 322 years away from extinction. Certainly, this calculation is just my way of assuming. Doesn't prove anything. But as a human being, they're worried about our fate. Through the results in Universe 25. Some people think it's unfounded. Some people think it's none of their business. Welcome to leave a message with your views and complaints. Thanks for listening. If you like it, please like it and follow it. Thank you.